Hi kids, good to have you here. I hope you had a happy Easter. I did. My family had a lot of fun. Today in our Bible lesson we're going to hear about a contest that happened between Elijah and his God and the prophets of Baal who worshipped Baal, an idol. A contest is when two or more people are trying to get something, to win something. And so what I thought was we could have a little contest. If you have two cars or two balls or something like that, would like to see which one can go farther than the other. That will be our contest. I'm going to try it here with these two play cars and see which one will go farthest. Which one do you think will go the farthest? Let's see. Start with the smaller one first. Oh, that went pretty far. How about the bigger one? Oh, look at that. The bigger one did not make it. So in our contest, the little one beat the big one. I'd like to try another kind of a contest now. You see my target that I made there. We played with this before at church. And all it is some numbers that I put up there. Those are points. And you see the most points come from the middle of the target and the least points are on the outside of the target. What we're going to do in this contest is I'm going to take these marbles. I've got a blue marble and a brown marble. And I'm going to roll them towards the target and try to get the most points. Whichever part it hits is the point value that it has. So let's start with the blue marble. Rolling it. I'm trying for the 20 in the middle. I'm trying real hard. Oh, but nope, I hit the 10. So the blue has 10 points. Now for the brown. I went way off on that one. That one also has 10 points. Let's try that again. I want to get a 20. Let's see if I can get a 20. This is something you could do at home. You could make your own target. I'm shooting for the 20. Nope, I hit a 10. The other 10. Let's try it with the brown. Still 10. Okay. I know it can be done. I've done it. Let's try it again. There we go. That was a 20. Let's see if I can do that with the brown. Yep, another 20. There we go. So you could just do that and see which one wins, which one gets the most points. As I said before, in today's Bible lesson, there's a contest between Elijah and the prophets of Baal to see which of their gods is more powerful. Is it the God that the Israelites always worshiped before? Or is it Baal, the new god that many of the people were worshiping? And so when I think about something powerful, I like to think about what's powerful in our world. One of the first things that I thought of is something that I know our little friend Connor likes, motorcycles and motorbikes. And so I want to show you. Here's a motorcycle. Look at the power that's in this machine. Well, that was powerful. But what would happen if somebody dropped a race car and a parachute right in my yard and the race car took off? That would be pretty powerful too. Let's look at that. A train engine is also very powerful. The old kind of train engine was called a locomotive, and the steam would make the wheels go. Let's see how powerful a locomotive is. Another very powerful machine is a helicopter. Let's see a helicopter. A missile is something that has a rocket that pushes it up into the sky. Watch this missile being launched. Another kind of a rocket is a spaceship or the space shuttle that used to fly up into outer space. Watch the power of a space shuttle's rocket. And now for something that isn't a motor but is still powerful, a mighty army marching together with all their weapons. Did you know that water's very powerful? And when there's a lot of water, that's called a flood. And so in this video, we're going to pretend that there's a flood at my house. How about a tornado when there's a lot of wind blowing? We're going to pretend there's a tornado at my house. All those things are very powerful, and yet they're not nearly as powerful as God is, the true God. And that's what we'll see in this story.
King Ahab was an evil king of Israel. God chose Elijah to tell Ahab to stop doing bad things. Elijah told Ahab that a drought was coming, and God prevented rain in the land for 3 years. Later, Elijah told Ahab to gather the Israelites and the prophets of Baal at Mount Carmel. He said they should choose to follow God or to follow Baal. They couldn't follow both. Elijah set up a challenge to show who is the real God. The prophets of the false god Baal set up their altar first and put a bull on it. Elijah said, "Call to your God and ask him to send fire to your altar. I will call on the Lord. The God who answers by sending fire is the one true God." The prophets of Baal danced and cried for hours. "Answer us," they said, but no one answered. "Shout loudly," Elijah taunted them. "Maybe he is sleeping." But still there was no answer. Then the people gathered around Elijah and his altar. He dug a trench around his altar and put a bull on it. Then he told the people to pour water on the bull, the altar, the trench, and everything around it. Everything was soaking wet. Then Elijah prayed, "O God, answer me so that these people will know that you are the true God." God sent fire from the sky. It burnt up the bull, the wood, the stones, and the dust. It dried up the water in the trench. When the people saw this, they fell face down and said, "The Lord, He is God! The Lord, He is God!" King Ahab told Queen Jezebel everything that Elijah had done. Jezebel was furious. She wanted to kill Elijah. So Elijah ran into the wilderness. He walked to Mount Horeb, and at the mountain, God spoke to Elijah and encouraged him never to give up.
There were many times when Jesus told us not to be afraid. Still, trusting God in times of trouble is very difficult. But if faith comes first, then we will see how God brings good out of even troubled times. I'm making an altar here, like the kind of altar that they had back in Old Testament times. The people of God built altars like this, once in the tabernacle and once in the temple. And at the four corners of the altar was something called horns, and those horns represented God's great power. And there were a couple of stories where someone would come to the altar and hold on to those horns, seeking God's power and God's help. That's what we do whenever we pray. We're coming to God and asking for His help in a time of trouble.
The mission trip I went on continued in a place called Bath, England. After singing for 20 minutes, we took in the sights of this incredible city and enjoyed the performances of street entertainers.
Here we go, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3, go! Yes, I got it. Wait! Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to see something really difficult? Yes! This is really difficult. Now, do you want to see something even harder? Yes! Okay, I've got one more trick. 1, 2, 3, here it comes.
Romans discovered hot springs in the valley here and built a series of hot baths that they felt had healing powers. These are the 2,000-year-old remains of the baths.